Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are tackling a subject that feels like it's screaming from the headlines every single morning. But we are going to look at it from an angle that I guarantee most people are ignoring.
Yeah.
We are talking about the AI revolution. But hold on, before you roll your eyes and expect another segment on, how robots are coming for your coding job or the top 10 prompts to make you a millionaire, just stop. We aren't doing that.
No, we definitely aren't doing that today. In fact, we're looking at pretty much the exact opposite.
Right, because the source material we are diving into today suggests that while everyone is panicking about technical skills,
Python, data architecture, prompt engineering, all of it.
exactly, the real crisis and frankly the massive opportunity is actually about being human.
It sounds completely counterintuitive, doesn't it? The assumption is that as machines get smarter, we need to get more technical just to keep up. But the data, and we have a lot of it today, suggests that as AI commoditizes intelligence, the most valuable currency becomes the things that, well, silicon can't do. Connection, resilience, curiosity.
So the document we're unpacking is titled Cultivating the Human Edge in the AI Economy. And this isn't just one person's opinion. This is a massive synthesis.
Oh, it's huge. We are talking global employer surveys, workforce analytics from huge platforms like Coursera, Indeed, and BetterUp.
And even education data from the OECD.
It's a comprehensive health check on the global workforce. And our mission for this deep dive is to figure out why these human-centric skills are becoming the most expensive, most elusive resources in the market, and why we are currently so terrible at measuring them.
I want to set the stage properly here. I love the idea of moving past the whole robots versus humans cliche, but I need you to give us the stakes. Is this just a nice HR theory, or is the house actually on fire?
The house is definitely smoking, if not fully ablaze. I mean, if we look at the World Economic Forum's data, they project that 40% of core job skills are going to be disrupted by 2030.
By 2030, that's just a few years away.
Just 5 years away, the landscape is shifting right under our feet.
40% disruption is massive. That's nearly half of what we do every day becoming obsolete or changing completely.
It is. And the argument here is that the competitive advantage for a company, or, for you as an individual, it's no longer about who has the best tech stack.
Because everyone has the tech.
Everyone has the tech. A tech is cheap. The advantage is who has the best humans, who can do the things the AI can't do.
Okay, so let's get into the meat of this. When we say human-centric skills, I feel like a lot of people just hear soft skills and immediately tune out. They think, oh, being nice in meetings.
Right, or having a good handshake.
Yeah. But the source material is pretty specific that this is not just about being polite.
You're right to be skeptical of the term soft skills. It really minimizes what these actually are. The source refers to them as meta-competencies.
Meta-competencies.
Think of them not as apps on your phone, but as the operating system. If the OS is buggy, it doesn't matter how good the apps are.
That's a really helpful distinction. So what are these 4 domains?
Okay, so first, there's creativity and problem solving. And this isn't just being artistic. It includes things like systems thinking, seeing the whole picture. Second is emotional intelligence, which covers resilience and empathy. Third is learning and growth, specifically curiosity. And fourth is, of course, collaboration.
Okay, so these are the engines that basically drive how we apply our technical knowledge.
Precisely. You could be the best coder in the world, but if you lack the resilience to handle a system crash or the empathy to understand what the user actually needs, your technical skill is severely limited.
Now, here is where the data gets messy in a way I found really interesting. There is this huge supply and demand mismatch. Employers are screaming for these skills, but they can't seem to find them.
They're desperate. Analytical thinking, resilience, creative thinking, these are the top priorities for employers looking toward 2025. But here's the gap. Only 1 in 2 employers believe their current workforce is actually proficient in collaboration or creativity.
Only half. That seems incredibly low for skills that are supposedly basic to being human.
It gets worse. Curiosity and lifelong learning are ranked as the weakest capabilities globally.
That is terrifying. We are entering an era where everything changes every 6 months, and the one skill we need, curiosity, is the one we are worst at.
That's the reality. And this leads to what the report calls the invisibility problem. And this really explains why we're so bad at this.
I want to dig into this because this was the part that made me stop and reread. We say we want these skills, but the data shows we don't. We don't actually ask for them.
Correct. An analysis of U.S. job postings from 2024 to 2025 showed that only 72% of ads explicitly mention any human-centric skill. And even when they do, it's lazy.
What do you mean lazy?
They'll just say excellent communication skills. They almost never ask for systems thinking or curiosity, even though those are the high-value traits they actually need.
But there was one specific data point from WorkHuman that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. It's about the money. They called it the value paradox.
Ah, yes. This is a crucial insight. So WorkHuman looked at peer recognition messages, where colleagues send a great job note to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Creative thinking was recognized the least often. It appeared in only 5% of those messages.
Okay, so basically nobody is noticing creativity. Or at least nobody's bothering to point it out.
Rare sightings, yes. But, and here's the paradox, when it was recognized, it carried the highest average monetary reward value, about $75 on average.
I'm trying to parse the logic here. If I'm a manager and I'm willing to pay a premium for creativity, literally putting a higher dollar value on it, why am I only recognizing it 5% of the time? Is it just that rare? Or are we blind?
Well, it's not necessarily that it's rare, it's that it's harder to spot than something like dependability.
Yeah.
If you show up on time and you file your report, I see it immediately, it's visible.
Right.
But if you used complex systems thinking to solve a problem before it even happened, I might not even notice you did anything.
Right. You prevented the fire, so I didn't see you fighting it.
Exactly. That is the invisibility problem. Compare that to dependability, which gets recognized all the time, but carries a much lower financial value. We are creating a signal failure.
So employees aren't hearing good job on that creative thinking very often, so they just assume it doesn't matter.
And we are incentivizing the loud, obvious skills, showing up, replying to emails fast, and accidentally ignoring the high-value ones. The financial data proves it. We are starving the very behaviors we are desperate to buy.
So we have a workforce where these skills are undervalued and invisible. And that makes the next piece of data even scarier, because we're not just ignoring these skills, we're actively losing them.
Let's talk about the pandemic hangover.
Yeah, this is where the story gets a bit darker. Data from BetterUp, which tracked people from 2019 to 2025, shows a shocking trend.
Okay.
We saw a sharp drop in resilience, teaching, mentoring, and creativity during the acute phase of the pandemic, so 2020 to 2021.
Which makes sense. We were all in survival mode. You don't get creative when you're worried about finding toilet paper. Survival mode kills creativity. That's well established. But the kicker is that by 2025, those skills haven't recovered to 2019 levels.
Wait, really? We're 5 years out, the emergency phase is over. Why haven't we bounced back?
Because human skills are fragile. They erode under stress. We tend to treat them like riding a bike, that once you learn empathy or resilience, you have it forever. But the data suggests they're more like a muscle.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly. If you stop practicing them in a safe environment, they atrophy.
And was this atrophy spread evenly? Did everyone lose their resilience equally?
No, and this highlights a major inequality. Yeah. Individual contributors, so people without management titles, suffered the steepest declines and the slowest recovery. Managers fared significantly better.
Why is that? You'd think the managers would be more stressed.
You might think so, but managers usually have access to coaching, mentoring, support networks. They have a tribe. Individual contributors were often left isolated in remote work setups, expected to just produce. They lost the social fabric that helps build resilience.
It sounds like we replaced the water cooler with Zoom calls and realized too late that the water cooler was actually where the resilience was being built.
That's a great way to put it. Resilience isn't a solo sport, it's communal. When you strip away the community, the capability just collapses.
So we have a current workforce that is stressed, with eroded skills, facing an AI revolution. Usually this is the part where we say, don't worry, the next generation will save us.
Yes, the kids.
Let's look at the pipeline, the schools. How are the students doing?
Well, if you were hoping for a cavalry rescue, the PIS 2022 data is going to disappoint you.
Oh no.
PISA is the OECD's global metric for education systems. They tested creative thinking across 66 countries. Only half of the students in OECD countries could generate original ideas in familiar contexts.
Only half. That seems incredibly low for kids. Aren't kids supposed to be naturally creative?
They are, until we train it out of them. And the data points to the teachers. The OECD found that 30% of teachers received no training in social-emotional skills. They are trained to teach content, math, history, science, but not human capability.
Which reinforces that old industrial model of education. Sit down, shut up, learn the facts, which is exactly what AI can do better than us now.
Correct. But there were some fascinating regional variations that challenge our assumptions about who has the edge.
Yes, the data on Sub-Saharan Africa really stood out to me.
It's remarkable. Sub-Saharan Africa scores above global averages in confidence regarding creativity, resilience, and collaboration.
Above global averages, why?
It's likely tied to the necessity of problem-solving in resource-constrained environments. When things aren't just handed to you, you have to be creative to make them work.
Interesting.
Eastern Asia showed the strongest scores in curiosity. But, it's a big syllabic, but curiosity and lifelong learning are the weakest points everywhere globally. It's a universal struggle.
And there was an equity angle here too, right? It wasn't just about geography.
No.
Yeah.
Disadvantaged students show systematically lower creativity and empathy scores. And the report emphasizes this isn't about lack of potential, it's about cognitive load. If you are worried about your safety or your next meal, you do not have the brain space to be creatively vulnerable.
It connects right back to the pandemic data. Stress kills the human edge.
Exactly.
Okay, we have defined the problem. We have seen the scary data on the current workforce and the future workforce. Now I want to get to the how to fix it part. The report outlines some evidence-based solutions, but I have to be honest, the first one mentioned, I kind of struggled with it.
You mean simulearn?
Yes. Using AI to learn how to be human. It sounds like a paradox, doesn't it?
It does.
It sounds dystopian. The idea that I need a robot to teach me how to have a difficult conversation with another human being, doesn't that defeat the entire purpose?
I get the hesitation. But let me play devil's advocate here. Think about the alternative. Do you want your new manager practicing their empathy skills on you when you're having a crisis?
No.
Or on a key client during a high-stakes negotiation?
That's a very fair point. I'd rather they crash the simulator than crash my career.
That's the logic behind Amazon Web Services' Simulearn and Udemy's AI roleplay. They realize that throwing people into high-stakes emotional situations without practice is just dangerous. People are terrified of messing up.
So the robot provides a safe space.
Exactly. You interact with AI agents, a business stakeholder, a technical customer, and the AI reacts to your tone. If you get defensive, the AI gets defensive. You can mess up the negotiation, anger the AI client, and then just reset and try again. It builds cognitive muscle memory without the social shame of failure.
And it turns out we are actually more willing to be vulnerable when we know the person across from us isn't real.
That's what the data shows. It removes the judgment.
Okay, I'm sold on the robot tutors, reluctantly. Let's move from the digital to the physical. There was a case study from Mexico Tecnológico de Monterrey that took a very different approach.
This is challenge-based learning. They radically overhauled their curriculum. Over 50% of the coursework is now real-world challenges.
Real-world meaning. They aren't solving textbook problems with an answer key at the back.
No answer keys. They partner with an industry player or an NGO, take a messy, actual problem, and tell the students, solve this.
That sounds chaotic.
It is, but that's the point. The real world is chaotic. This forces students to use collaboration, resilience, and critical thinking because the path isn't clear. And the results are stunning. Employability rose from 81% to 89%.
Because they have actually done the job before they even got the job.
Right. They aren't just memorizing theory. They are practicing human connection in a problem-solving context.
So solution number 3 addresses that invisibility problem we talked about earlier. How do we prove we have these skills if they are so hard to measure?
Credentialing. We are seeing a move toward digital badges that actually mean something. PwC and the University of Los Andes are pioneering this.
But is this just a sticker you put on your LinkedIn?
I'm a good listener. It has to be more rigorous than that to work. Take PwC's Inclusive Mindset badge. You don't just watch a video. You have to demonstrate behavior change. It uses blockchain to verify it, making it a portable asset.
And it actually works.
90% of the earners reported that the process actually changed how they work.
That's the key. It turns a vague concept like inclusivity into a verified, visible asset. It signals to the market that this person has invested time in being a better human.
And it forces the organization to define what good actually looks like.
I want to zoom out to the organizational level. We can train individuals all day, but if the system is broken, it won't matter. The report talks a lot about psychological safety.
This is foundational.
Yeah.
You can't have learning without safety.
Yeah.
If you are terrified of being fired for a mistake, you will never be creative. You need the safety to take those risks.
And there's a case study here that I found incredibly moving, the Principles Academy Trust in South Africa.
This is a beautiful example of systemic leadership. They stopped trying to just fix the schools with better textbooks and started training the school principals in resilience and systems thinking.
They treated the principals like CEOs of complex organizations.
Exactly. And the results were massive.
How massive?
Massive. Schools in the program saw their bachelor pass rates, basically college readiness, rise by 16.4 percentage points. The provincial average rise was only 5.8 points.
That is almost triple the improvement, just by investing in the human skills of the leaders.
It proves the ripple effect. When a leader is resilient and thinks systematically, it calms the whole organization. It allows teachers to teach and students to learn.
Finally, we have to talk about who pays for all this, because training is expensive, and if companies are hesitant to hire for it, they're probably hesitant to pay for it. There is a model from the UAE mentioned.
Yes, Majid Al Futtaim. It's a public-private partnership. The government pays 70% of the cost to upskill the national workforce, and the employer pays 30%.
That seems like a smart split.
It is. It acknowledges that having a skilled population is a national interest. But the employer has to have skin in the game, too. If it's 100% government-funded, companies might not take it seriously. If it's 100% company-funded, they might cut it when budgets get tight.
So, bringing this all together, we have covered a lot of ground. We've established that the soft skills are actually the hard skills of the future.
We have to stop calling them nice-to-haves. In an AI economy, they're the only thing that will differentiate you. If an AI can write the code, write the marketing copy, and analyze the spreadsheet, what is left for you?
What's left is the empathy to understand the client, the creativity to ask the question the AI didn't think of, and the resilience to keep going when the plan fails.
And we have to be deliberate about it. We can't just hope we pick these skills up by osmosis. We need to train for them, measure them, and value them.
Before we sign off, there is one concept in the report that I want to leave our listeners with. It's a warning about cognitive offloading. This felt like the most important warning in the whole document.
I agree. This is the danger zone. Cognitive offloading is when we let the AI do the thinking for us. We let ChatGPT write the difficult email, we let the algorithm make the schedule, we let the tool summarize the meeting.
And that sounds efficient. That sounds like what we are supposed to do.
It is efficient.
All right.
But the research suggests that this actually weakens our brains. It's that muscle atrophy again. If you never struggle through writing a difficult email, you never build the neural pathways for empathy and nuance.
So wait, if I use AI to skip the hard stuff, I'm actually making myself less capable.
You are outsourcing the struggle, and the struggle is what builds the skill. If you offload the thinking, you eventually lose the ability to think deeply.
That is a haunting thought. So here's the challenge for you listening right now. In your own work, look at how you are using these tools. Are you using AI to skip the hard thinking? Or are you using it to challenge yourself to think deeper?
Are you offloading the task, or are you offloading the drudgery so you can focus on the higher level strategy? The difference between those two approaches will define your career in the next 10 years.
That is the question to mull over. Don't let the machine do your push-ups for you. Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Stay curious, and more importantly, stay human. We'll see you next time.